Good afternoon, welcome to News Connect. I'm Amritpal Singh. Over the next 1 hour, we'll talk about how INS Visakhapatnam, which was commissioned into the Indian Navy today, what it means for the indigenous defense capabilities, because this indigenously developed P-15B stealth guided missile destroyer, the first of its kind in the Visakhapatnam class, was inducted or commissioned into the Indian Navy. We'll talk about the implications of that. Also, the rain fury in Andhra Pradesh has left 24 people dead so far. What is the situation right now? We'll talk about that and much more. But first up, the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Indigenously developed P-15B stealth-guided missile destroyer ship INS Visakhapatnam commissioned at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh was also present on the occasion. Defence Minister describes it as a symbol of India's growing maritime prowess. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur inaugurates the Indian Panorama and the 52nd International Film Festival of India and Goa. INB Minister felicitated feature and non-feature jury members in the inauguration ceremony of the Indian Panorama. In Andhra Pradesh, rain fury leaves 24 people dead and over 20,000 shifted to relief camps. State government announces ex gratia of 5 lakh rupees each to the kin of those killed. In Tamil Nadu, Pallar and Thin Peniyar rivers are in spate. Central teams to assess flood damages on a 4-day visit. In international news, Polish Prime Minister to hold series of talks around Europe on the border crisis with Belarus, to meet with his counterparts from EU members, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia today. Poland expects the crisis to continue even as minor fall reported in the number of attempts by migrants seeking refuge inside EU. Anti-COVID protests in Austria, Netherlands, Australia and Croatia. Tens of thousands march in Vienna before the lockdown. Protesters turned violent in Netherlands. Several thousands in Australia take to the streets protesting against COVID-19 vaccination mandates. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the third and the final 2020 match at Eden Gardens in Kolkata today. Men in blue, who are 2-0 ahead in the series, will look to go for a clean sweep. Bench strength likely to be tested. So those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Indian Navy today commissioned its latest warship INS Visakhapatnam, which is the largest guided missile stealth destroyer. The ship is the first of the Project 15 Bravo class. The predominantly indigenous weapon sensor machinery fit and stealth features symbolize the maturing of India's shipbuilding capability and quest for self-reliance. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who was also present on the occasion, commissioned it into the Indian Navy with a length of 164 meters and displacing 7,500 tons. Project 15B ships are one of the largest surface combatants to be built in India. The ship is a versatile platform capable of blue water operations across the spectrum of warfare. The ship's indigenously developed state-of-the-art weapon sensor suite, coupled with advanced network-enabled capabilities and integral multi-role helicopters, make her a potent platform that packs substantial offensive and defensive capability. And speaking on the occasion, Defence Minister said that Indian Navy in the field of indigenous ships and submarines manufacturing has been on the front foot with initiatives like Make in India.
उल्लेखनीय है कि हमारी नेवी आत्मनिर्भरता के क्षेत्र में इंडिजिनाइज्ड शिप्स और सबमरीन्स की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आदि में पहले से बहुत आगे रही है। मेक इन इंडिया जैसे इनिशिएटिव्स के साथ जुड़ते हुए नेवी ने वर्ष 2014 में 75% एओएन तथा 66% कास्ट बेसिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इंडियन वेंडर्स को दिए हैं तथा लगभग 90% नेवल एम्यूनिशन का इंडिजनाइजेशन हुआ है। इसके अतिरिक्त पिछले 5 फाइनेंशियल ईयर से नेवी के मॉडर्नाइजेशन बजट का 2/3 से अधिक भाग स्वदेशी खरीद पर ही खर्च किया गया है।
Rajnath Singh described the development of indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant as an important milestone in their path to achieve Atmanirbharta.
देवियों सज्जनों, इंडिजिनस एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर INS विक्रांत का डेवलपमेंट भी नेवी की सेल्फ रिलायंस की राह में एक मील का पत्थर है। मुझे इस बात की खुशी है, कोविड के कहर के बावजूद शिप ने नवंबर 2020 में बेसिन ट्रायल्स और अभी कुछ दिन पहले मेडन ट्रायल्स पूरे कर लिए हैं। इस पर न केवल 40 फाइटर प्लेन्स आ सकते हैं, बल्कि यह एंटी एयर, एंटी सबमेरिन और लैंड पर वार करने वाले मिसाइल से भी यह लैस है। यह कैरियर हमारी रीच इंडियन ओशन से बढ़ाकर पैसिफिक और अटलांटिक ओशन तक कर देगा। INS विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग न केवल नेवी के लिए बल्कि इंडियन डिफेंस हिस्ट्री में भी एक गोल्डन मूवमेंट होगा।
The Defence Minister said that some irresponsible nations with their narrow partisan interests and hegemonic tendencies are coming up with wrong definitions of the UN Convention on Law of the Sea.
आज हम ग्लोबलाइजेशन के युग में रह रहे हैं। व्यापार के क्षेत्र में प्रायः सभी राष्ट्र एक दूसरे पर निर्भर हैं। ऐसे में स्टेबिलिटी, इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस और दुनिया के विकास के लिए रूल बेस्ड फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन, सी लेन्स की सिक्योरिटी इत्यादि पहले से कहीं अधिक महत्वपूर्ण हो गई है। 1982 के यूनाइटेड नेशंस कन्वेंशन ऑन द लॉ ऑफ द सी, जिसे अनक्लॉस कहकर पुकारते हैं, इसमें नेशंस के टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स, एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन्स और गुड ऑर्डर एट सी के प्रिंसिपल को प्रतिपादित किया गया है। पर इन प्रिंसिपल्स की मनमानी व्याख्या एक रूल बेस्ड मैरीटाइम ऑर्डर की राह में बाधा उत्पन्न करती है। यानी कुछ नेशंस ऐसे हैं, नेशंस क्या हैं, मैं उन्हें इररेस्पॉन्सिबल नेशन कहना चाहूंगा, जो अपने नैरो पार्टीजन इंटरेस्ट के लिए हेगेमोनिक टेंडेंसी से इन इंटरनेशनल लॉज की आए दिन नई नई अनुचित व्याख्याएं करते रहते हैं। व्यवस्था की दृष्टि से अनक्लॉस 1982 के नियम बहुत ही अहम हैं, पर उनकी मनमानी व्याख्या करके उन्हें लगातार कमजोर किया जा रहा है। यह चिंता का विषय है।
And earlier, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh was given Guard of Honour. Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Karambir Singh, Member of Parliament Arvind Sawant, the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Western Naval Command, Vice Admiral R. Hari Kumar, the Chairman and Managing Director of the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited and other civil and military officials of the Ministry of Defence were present during the commissioning ceremony. And to talk more about that, I'm joined by Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha. He's a retired Vice Admiral. He was former Chief of the Integrated Defence Staff. Admiral Sinha, many thanks for joining me on the show. Well, the INS Visakhapatnam was commissioned some time back today. What does it mean in terms of defence capability? How does it add value to our fighting capabilities?
Well, thank you very much for getting me on your show. I think it's a very big development as far as the Navy and the country is concerned. As the Honorable Defence Minister mentioned, that we have extended our reach to beyond Indian Ocean, which is Pacific, and rightly so, because we are into Indo-Pacific days. And I think the capability of the ship is many numbers. Firstly, it has got very high content of indigenization. As you know, apart from the ship, the missile systems, the surface-to-air missile, it is in collaboration with the Israeli company, the Barak new generation. The surface-to-surface missile is BrahMos, which is with the Russian collaboration, and the gun is 76.2, which is with the collaboration with the Otto Melara company. So the main weapon systems and the electronic warfare systems are all indigenous. And I'm very happy to mention that it has got a very high degree of stealth. This ship on the radar is not going to be very easy. Another important point is that the helicopter deck is capable of taking the new helicopter, as you know, that MH-60 Romeo is coming, 24 of them, and it will be put on this ship. So I think all in all, it is such a weapon platform that it does not require anybody else's support. It is a sort of fighting nation on its own, whether it is submarine or aircraft or surface ship or attack on surface targets. So this is a very big capability, and going beyond right up to Pacific is something very important which Indian Navy and India wants to achieve.
Okay, so Admiral Sinha, then are you arguing that apart from adding to your warfare capabilities, it is also predominantly a step forward or a leap forward in our quest for self-reliance, for indigenous shipbuilding capability of the highest order?
Well, absolutely right. If you recall, a little while ago, the Honorable Defense Minister was talking about, Navy is a good example of Atmanirbhar. We started making our own ships from late 60s. The first one was the Leander class. And then after it has been development of design by the Naval Design Bureau, we don't wait for anybody. One odd ship in 10-15 years are brought into service by importing, basically to see that what upgrades and technology has been done. But Visakhapatnam class, it has got a very state-of-the-art radar. It has got very state-of-the-art missile systems, as I mentioned, and the anti-submarine torpedoes and rockets. They're all built here. So I think that we should be very proud of rolling out this ship, and MDL really needs to be given big shabash for having designed and having made this ship. And the design bureau who have designed the ship, as you can see that there will be 2 helicopter hangars, and at any one time it can take 2 anti-submarine helicopters. So I think it is not only a Navy's capability up to Pacific, but it is Indian ship built by India. Most of the weapon systems are Indian, possibly except for the engine, very small content is going to be imported one, run by the Indians with an Indian flag. So I think it's a country by itself.
Okay. Admiral Sinha, about 2 days back when the Prime Minister was in Jhansi, he spoke about how defense production could be the next pusher for making India Atmanirbhar or a self-reliant India, where he said we want to not only make in India, but we want to make for the world. Do you think the Navy, our Mazagon docks, our shipbuilding capabilities have achieved a level where we could start not just for manufacturing for our own needs and complete that, but also start exporting to other navies and other countries around the world?
That's a really very, very pointed question, and I must say that the capacity of our shipyards need to be increased, and possibly the number of ships which the Navy wants, it will be a little bit hard on the shipyards to manufacture, build these ships and give it to other countries. But I'm sure that the shipyards are being sort of expanded, and there will be requirement of new shipyards and possibly private shipyards where design can be given, overseen by the Navy or the MDL, and the integration can be done by MDL. So I think it is a possibility. As you know, we have already exported ships to Mauritius, to Seychelles, to Sri Lanka, to Maldives. So I think there is no doubt about it that we are capable. However, the capacity, not the capability, we have the capability. But the capacity of building so many ships, so many production lines to be opened, I think there is a need to expand all the existing infrastructure, particularly in MDL, and wherever a new port we are making, it must have the shipbuilding capability with the intention of selling it to other countries, to friendly countries.
Okay.
I think we have the capability. We have a limited capacity at the moment, but I think the government is doing a lot to see that the sector gets fully attended to.
But Admiral Sinha, it's interesting that you say that we should perhaps go in for private shipbuilding capabilities. This is in fact what the Prime Minister has been pushing, saying, well, bring in the private sector, break that mindset of only the government will manufacture because it's a very sensitive sector. He says they involve the Indian companies, the Indian startups in howsoever you can. And is that the way forward? Because for about 40-60 years we've been trying to do it within the government, and we've only gone so far and not further.
No, that's a very good point which the Honorable Prime Minister has made. As we know that Larsen Chubra is already making ships for us and possibly submarines in the future, we require more of these shipyards, the private shipyards, maybe the Pipavav shipyard, or maybe some other shipyard in Kottupalli in Chennai. These are the ones where the design can be given to them, and under the supervision of the naval constructors, the ship can be built, weapon systems can be placed, and integration could be done by the Mazgaon Dock Limited, so that we should be producing same ship from 2-3 production lines at 2-3 different places. For example, we made some G class, Godavari class, some of them in Mazgaon Dock Limited and some in GRSC. Therefore, I think without the private sector, export will be a little bit tough call. And I think our private sector is fully ready. They are quite capable of building ships and submarines. All they require is a bit of hand-holding. And as you said, that the startup companies, they can take on the electronic warfare systems, the smaller projects, the smaller sort of components, and the, shall I say, the soft weapon systems and not the hard weapon systems. And they're quite capable. I think we have to trust the private sector. As you know that the Tatas are now going to make the transport aircraft very soon, 40 of them in India in collaboration with a company outside. And I think there should be more. There are Mahindras, there are all kinds of people who are wanting to come into this sector. And I think that we should encourage, we have Adanis, we have Ambanis, they all own shipyards. And I think there is no reason for us. I mean, after all, there's no question of any secrecy. They're all Indian people. They want to do things for the country as much as you and I want.
Absolutely. But then that brings me to the question, you've served in the Navy, you've served in the government, in the Ministry of Defence. Is that mindset changing?
Yes, it is changing. And I think the change of mindset has come right from top with Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. He has really pushed it very hard. And I think that slowly I would say that I won't say it is 100%, but I think there is already a change in the mindset of our bureaucracy that we should not be limited ourselves to PSUs. And I think PSUs, unless you have a competition with the private sector, it will be good for them. Otherwise, it will be hard for them to win a contract if a private sector is going to make a very similar type of platform. And our PSUs have met all the requirements. However, there have been times when the PSUs have taken much longer because of our labor laws, because of our government processes, and that restriction will not be there in the private sector. So I think that's the way. But 100% change, I think we are, just a little short of that.
Okay. My last question to you, Admiral Sinha. INS Visakhapatnam is the first ship of the project 15B. What is this project 15B? And once we have 2 more vessels, how will it enhance our warfare capabilities?
The project 15 is basically all destroyers. And we started with INS Delhi, and I had the good fortune of commanding that ship. We made 4 ships in that category. And then we made 15 Alpha, which is Kolkata class. Now we have come to make the 15 Bravo. Each subclass is a development of the previous one. It is more stealth, it is more quick, it has got smart weapons, it has got more indigenization content. So I think the Navy is actually very proud to operate Indian ships, fly Indian aircraft. As you know that the Tejas has also done the deck trial on board the Vikramaditya. So I would think that the Navy actually is a totally indigenous service. Very little which is imported. If it is manufactured in India, I can assure you the Navy will have it first.
All right. Admiral, coming week, submarine Vela is also to be commissioned into the Indian Navy. This will be the fourth submarine of Project 75. Do you think, coupled with INS Visakhapatnam, it increases or gives that leap which gives us the capability to address threats both above water and in the underwater domains?
Absolutely right. The ships, particularly when the tensions are high, when we know that we are going into an area where it could lead to a sort of more skirmish and could be more contestation and more conflict, which you will see more often in Indian Ocean in the coming days. A submarine and a destroyer in company, I think it's a very deadly and a very potent combination. And you very rightly pointed out, not only that whether it would be or not, it is desirable to have a submarine in company of the fleet ship so that the underwater domain is also covered very well. As you know, the submarines can go ahead of the ships and scan the underwater domain and tell us as to is there a need for carrying out any kind of action on the underwater targets. As you know that recently the Chinese Navy, I wouldn't hesitate to take the name, the Chinese Navy had sent UUVs, what they call sea gliders, and 12 of them were at sea for 3-4 months in the Indian Ocean, and they were collecting the hydrological data. You never know. Tomorrow it may be carrying some ammunition. It may be carrying some explosive, and quietly come and sort of detonate itself under a ship. So we have not a problem. We have a big concern on this, and I think the submarines are the best sort of suited, and the anti-submarine helicopters, which we are now getting 24 of them, and I think that 24 may still be quite short. We don't make those helicopters because our helicopter development line is some distance away from getting an operational helicopter. And naval helicopters per force have very high quality and state-of-the-art equipment which we don't manufacture here. So therefore, the helicopters by and large will remain to have to be imported. That in combination with a submarine and a destroyer, I can tell you that the Indian Navy need not worry for any kind of offensive action which might happen.
Admiral Sinha, finally, before I let you go, let me use this opportunity to ask that as a country, there was a time when we were just securing our coastline. We were probably just one nation centric when it came to our larger forces, including the Indian Navy. Then we started looking at the Indian Ocean. But as we rise in stature in the Committee of Nations in the world, we wish to play a bigger role in the region, probably in world affairs. We're looking at the Indo-Pacific. What does the Indian Navy need to do to grow, or what does our defense establishment see that our blue water capabilities grow which are commensurate to the role that we wish to play in the Committee of Nations?
No, absolutely right. If you look at it, the Navy gives the country a reach, which other services, may be very hard, because the naval ships can go to any area because there are no boundaries. Whereas and nobody is going to make any noise. But if the Army and Air Force goes, it can ruffle a lot of feathers. So I think that the Navy has a biggest role to play as far as India's
expanding your influence, your dominance,
Indo-Pacific role is concerned, or role in the Quad is concerned. of people. And I think that, we are good enough to exercise fair amount of power. Not only that we should have power, we must demonstrate the will to use it. And that is what deters the enemy. And I think that having these destroyers doing exercises in various parts of the ocean, South China Sea or the Pacific, along with the submarine, I think it sends a signal that we are not only capable, we also have the intention of using it if we are pushed to do so. So I think India has a big role to play, and Navy will have the biggest role to play in this entire game of power projection. And I think that the aircraft carrier, the next one, it is a very, very necessary weapon system which can give you reach very far, and it also assures the neighborhood, the Indian Ocean littorals and the Indo-Pacific littorals, that India has the capability. It can come to our rescue. It can support us whenever they get into trouble.
All right. Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, many thanks for joining us and sharing your perspective with us this afternoon. Thank you. And moving on, the 6th edition of the Indo-France Joint Military Exercise Shakti 2021 has commenced at the Military School of Draguignan in France. The Indian Army contingent is being represented by a composite team of 3 officers, 3 junior commissioned officers and 37 soldiers from a battalion of the Gurkha Rifles and of course the support arms. The contingent, apart from joint training, went to visit the Mazogu War Cemetery in Marseille, where 1,002 Indian soldiers laid down their lives and were cremated there in the First World War. The Indian and French contingents together presented a guard of honor and paid their homage to commemorate the valor of the fallen bravehearts. The training so far has focused on aspects of joint planning, mutual understanding of the conduct of operations and identification of coordination aspects required for jointly operating in a counter-terrorism environment under the UN mandate. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today shared his photograph with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Twitter and described it as committed to building a new India. In a tweet, Yogi Adityanath said, and I quote, "We have embarked on a journey, we have dedicated our everything and pledged to build a new India which will touch the heights beyond the sky with new light." Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 2-day visit to Lucknow to attend the 56th DGP-IGP conference. And now for some news from the 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India, which is currently underway in Goa. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Singh Thakur today felicitated the feature and the non-feature jury members in the inauguration ceremony of the Indian Panorama section. First, the jury members of the non-feature category were felicitated. Director and producer of the opening film of the Indian Panorama and the non-feature category, Ved the Visionary, directed by Rajiv Prakash, was felicitated. Later, jury members of the feature category were felicitated. Director and actor of the film Sem Khor, the first ever Dimasa language film from Assam, directed by Ami Barua, was felicitated by the minister. Speaking on the occasion, Anurag Singh Thakur said that efforts must be made to bring the regional cinema at the forefront. He stressed on making India a post-production hub, as the country has the skill set to make good content in India.
ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जो क्षेत्रीय है उसको राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कैसे बनाएं. And today that is possible. If you are creating the right content, then it is not restricted only to the regional language. It becomes national and international soon. We have the talent amongst us, the technology, the skilled manpower. We can offer to the world the platform to come and shoot in India, film in India, and also to have the post-production hub in India.
And speaking on the occasion, as I said, that the minister said that regional cinema must be brought to the forefront, and also the minister felicitated the jury members of the 75 Young Creative Minds of India, and later went on to felicitate the artists elected as Young Creative Minds of India. Addressing them, the Union Minister said that the first batch have been selected to get nourished and become the honor of the country. He also thanked the jury members of IFFI for their efforts in finding the best films to be screened at the festival.
इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया में भारत के उन युवाओं को जिनमें प्रतिभा हुनर की कोई कमी नहीं, केवल एक अवसर का इंतजार था, और शायद आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव से सुनहरा अवसर क्या होगा उन 75 युवा क्रिएटिव माइंड्स को चुनने का, तराशने का, उनको निखारने का। पहले बैच की जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि वो सबसे अच्छा निकले, ताकि मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति जो और कदम इस दिशा में उठाना चाहते हैं, मेरा भी मनोबल बढ़े कि ऐसे ही और कदम हम भविष्य में उठाएं, ताकि आप जैसे युवाओं को आगे आने का आगे अवसर मिले।
Further, Anurag Singh Thakur said that it's the right time to nurture new talent in the country. He also urged the young talents to engage with master classes to hone their skills.
I think this was the right time to pick the right talent from across the country, and I'm glad the names which have been shortlisted, majority of them come from the small town and the cities. They come here and being selected because of their talent, and we are here to help them, nurture them through the master classes, and the master classes will be taken by the iconic names of the cinema and the film industry, and I'm sure they're going to learn and go back and produce and do what they want to do in the creative field. This is a new initiative, one of the many first which we started this year, and I'm glad that the youngsters are very keen to learn and perform in the coming years in the field of cinema.
And talking about film facilitation office, he said that the facility will help filmmakers to chase their dreams and will help them conquer all obstacles they might face while production of their work.
फिल्म फैसिलिटेशन ऑफिस का काम ही ये है कि दुनिया भर के देश के कोई भी फिल्म प्रोडक्शन करना चाहते हो, फिल्म शूट करना चाहते हो, उनको सिंगल विंडो क्लियरेंस देखकर राज्यों की सरकारों से बातचीत करके भी उनके लिए बड़ा सरल और सहज तरीके से वहाँ पर सुविधाएं उपलब्ध करवाते हैं, ताकि उनको दर दर की ठोकरें ना खानी पड़े और सही समय पर अच्छा काम करें। उनकी चुनौतियों को कम करने का काम किया है, हैंड होल्ड करने का काम किया है, ताकि उनकी हम कुछ मदद कर सकें, उनको राहत दे सकें।
Union Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Zubin Irani today chaired a workshop on child rights with emphasis on preventive aspects of child protection issues. The workshop was held in New Delhi and was organized by NCPCR as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Speaking during the event, the minister highlighted the government's efforts in bringing amendments to POCSO and Juvenile Justice Acts.
हमने मंत्रालय के माध्यम से कई प्रयासों को किया है। देश की संसद में पॉक्सो और जेजे एक्ट को अमेंड करने के माध्यम से राष्ट्र भर में बच्चों के लिए जो उत्पन्न हुई चिंतन या चिंता थी, उसको प्रतिबिंबित करने का हमने प्रयास किया है। But society is ever changing. Administrative needs are dynamic, and hence it is incumbent upon us that we evolve with times and be ready with solutions for the challenges that present themselves.
World Fisheries Day is being celebrated across the world today. The day highlights the importance of sustainable stocks of fisheries in the world. It also focuses on other related factors such as the necessity of healthy oceans, balance in the ecosystem and surroundings. World Fisheries Day was also observed in Bhubaneswar in Odisha. Union Minister for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying Purushottam Rupala along with MOS Dr. L. Murugan graced the event. Balasore district in Odisha has been adjudged the best in marine district category. Addressing the gathering during the event, Union Minister Purushottam Rupala lauded Prime Minister Modi-led central government's decision to issue Kisan credit cards to fishermen, adding that the initiative would largely benefit the community.
हमारे मछुआरे भाइयों को हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी की ओर से सबसे बड़ा एक उपहार मिला है केसीसी का, उसका मुझे जिक्र करना है। और राज्य के जो भी अधिकारीगण हैं उनसे भी मेरा विनम्र अनुरोध है कि भारत सरकार की ओर से मत्स्य पालन में जुड़े हमारे भाइयों को केसीसी मिले। पहले तो वो किसानों को ही मिलता था, ये सुविधा अब मछुआरे भाइयों को भी देने का निर्णय भारत सरकार ने किया है, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किया है। और ये सभी जिला स्तर पर राज्य के अधिकारी लोग इसको सेंसिटाइज करें, वहां के बैंकिंग क्षेत्र के साथ बैठकर साधारण मछुआरे को भी इनकी सुविधा मुहैया कराए।
And Purushottam Rupala also stressed on sustainable development and urged the countrymen to keep the environment safe and clean.
इतना विशाल समुद्र है हमारे पास, इतनी बड़ी नदियां, तालाब, सागर हैं, उन सभी में से ये मत्स्य की दिन का एक बड़ा मैसेज ये है कि हमें इसको सस्टेन भी करना है। हमें इसका जिस प्रकार से भुगतान करना है मगर उसका संरक्षण करते हुए भुगतान करना है, उस पर्यावरण को भी बचाए रखना है। आज के दिन हम सब लोग इस प्रकार की अवेयरनेस भी रखेंगे कि हम जो भी काम कर रहे हैं फिशिंग का, उसमें जो भी हमारी प्राकृतिक रिसोर्सेज है उसका दोहन हम सप्रमाण करेंगे। सो हमारे पर्यावरण को भी हम स्वच्छ बनाए रखें।
And the Union Minister of State for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Dr. L. Murugan, said that Prime Minister Modi-led central government has been taking several initiatives for development of the fisheries sector. He added that the government aims to increase the income of the sector to 1 lakh crore by 2024.
The first time in the country, a seaweed special park has announced in this current budget at Tamil Nadu for the special purpose of the fisherwoman. This is in the history our Prime Minister is doing first time to the boost of this sector and this fisheries sector. And 24-25 our target is 1 lakh crore income in this field.
And Dr. Murugan highlighted many initiatives taken by the Prime Minister for the development of the fisheries sector in the country.
Under our visionary leader Sri Narendra Modi ji, our government is opening we have the easy do business. So I appeal to in this special occasion, I appeal to the young entrepreneurs, come forward and come to this field. We have to achieve and we will be take forward to our nation under Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Rajasthan government inducted new ministers in the state cabinet today. As many as 15 ministers, including 4 current ministers, took the oath of office during the official ceremony held at the Raj Bhavan in Rajasthan's Jaipur. Congress MLAs Mahendrajit Singh, Malviya, Ramlal Jat, Mahesh Joshi and Vishwendra Singh were sworn in as cabinet ministers by the governor Kalraj Mishra. The Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, several senior leaders of the party and opposition leaders were also present during the event. And now for some rain-related news. In Tamil Nadu, rivers are in spate in the northern part of the state owing to heavy rain in the catchment areas, especially in neighbouring Andhra Pradesh. Many villages were isolated in the northern districts, including Ranipet, Vellore, Tirupattur and Chengalpattu, as vast areas of farmland were submerged in flood waters and livestock washed away. Around 11,000 people have been moved to relief camps in Pandruti and Kodalur as 30 coastal villages were flooded. Meanwhile, the central team to assess the flood and rain damages are on a 4-day visit to Tamil Nadu. The state government said that the teams will start their assessments tomorrow. While one team will visit the southern district of Thoothukudi, Kanyakumari and Vellore, the teams will later have a discussion with Chief Minister on the 24th before returning to Delhi. In Andhra Pradesh, main rail and road routes in the state connecting south and east remained cut off as Penna river is in spate caused heavy destruction. At least 25 people have died in the rains in coastal Andhra Pradesh, while 17 are reported missing. The state's in the southern peninsula continued to reel under damages caused by heavy downpour in the past few days. At least 17 express trains were cancelled on the Chennai-Vijayawada Grand Trunk route as flood overflowed the railway track at Padu. The 3 other trains were partially cancelled and were diverted. Passengers were stuck in Nellore RTC bus station as bus services were disrupted. A total of 8 NDRF and 9 SDRF teams have been deployed in Chittoor, Nellore, Kodappa and Anantapur to carry out rescue and relief operations. Total of 172 mandals are affected due to the rains. And total 243 relief camps have been set up. As immediate measure, the government has released 7 crore for relief operations in affected areas and to meet the expenses for providing basic amenities to people who are affected by the heavy rains. And for more on that story, I am joined by our correspondent M. Srinivas Rao from Vijayawada for more updates on that. First of all, Srinivas, give us a sense of what is the situation of the rain right now.
As of now, except couple of places, there is no rain as such. As Met Department has predicted, there would be thunderstorms in couple of places like in Nellore, Tirupati and Chittoor. Other places, there is no rain as of now. Coming to Kadapa, where we received information that Papagani River Bridge, which got broken, partial broken, and the roads towards Kadapa to Anantapur are closed, and it's a 40 years old bridge which got broken in the early morning. In coming to Chittoor also, except couple of places, there is no rain as such. Apparently, the rain has stopped there, and public life is getting back to normalcy. APSC RTC, that's a state transport corporation, which is restarted buses to various places. There are normal bus services resumed here, and police is asking not to go places where there is a possibility of sudden flood or something like that. So this is the update in Chittoor. Coming to Tirupati, the temple town, where we still have information that says that still the city is inundated. There is no power supply in areas like Saraswati Nagar, Nakkala Colony, Shri Krishna Colony, Gandhipuram. But there is another news we are getting here is a Rayala Lake. There is a lake near Tirupati, which is seen a sort of breaker, where apparently there is a leakage of water, and if it breaks, then there would be a flood-like situation nearby places, and officials have already told and informed people to vacate their homes from that nearby places where there is a possibility of flood, and people are also moving to safer places. This is one of the news which we keep on getting from morning onwards. And the Swarnamukhi River and Pecha rivers are following dangerously, and officials are trying to release more water from these 2 rivers. Officials also instructed these people around who stay around these 2 rivers to move to safer places. Coming to Tirumala temple, where there is 2 ghat roads have opened and traffic has been allowed to go up to the temple two roads, the coming and going two roads have been opened, but still the walk path is not open because it's got severely damaged. Probably another 2 or 3 days it will take to get normalcy.
Okay.
And you have any question now?
Yes, I was asking you about the situation of the trains which were cancelled on the Chennai-Vijayawada route. Have they?
South has cancelled 18 trains which are coming to Madras, Chennai or Tirupati, and which are going via these two places, Chennai and Tirupati. 10 trains have routed. They changed the route. They changed the route of these 10 trains which are coming to these places. So total 28 trains got affected due to floods here in Rayalaseema area.
And also give us a sense of why were these trains cancelled? Has the railway track been damaged, or was there water overflowing on it? And if it was damaged, has it been restored? What is the situation right now?
Tracks have been damaged. GM himself was overseeing the repair work in Rayalaseema areas. Yesterday he visited on ground places where it got damaged. So he said it will take another 2 or 3 days to get back to normalcy. That's what we got from the sources there in South Central Railway.
All right. Okay. We'll leave it there. M. Srinivas Rao will keep coming back to you for more inputs on that. Thank you for joining us for the moment. And moving on now for some update on the vaccination front. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 116.5 crore landmark milestone. Cumulatively, 116 crore 50 lakh 55,210 beneficiaries have been administered vaccination so far. More than 67 lakh 25,000 vaccine doses have been administered on the 309th day of the country's largest vaccination program on Saturday, out of which 20 lakh 95,253 people were given the first dose, while 46 lakh 30,717 beneficiaries were administered the second dose on Saturday. In Jammu and Kashmir, the administration has organized a youth panchayat in a bid to raise awareness amongst youngsters about the various centrally funded schemes as part of the government's initiative. The block development officer of Shopian, Jahid Azad, said that the scheme is aimed at raising awareness amongst the youth.
This is the first initiative which we have taken in district Shopian. The essence of this project is to inculcate the spirit of responsibility among the two different stakeholders. One, the government, and second, the youth, who are the ultimate stakeholders of this project. For awareness, we are holding the Gram Sabhas at the Panchayat level, in which we invite the youths as well. And the platform which we have already created at the local level, we're engaging the youth through that platform to get engaged into different kind of activities at the Panchayat level. It bring them in front of administrative platforms and engage directly, having an interaction with them directly at the official level.
And some residents of the area expressed satisfaction over the new initiative by the government. Listen.
यूथ क्लब की तरफ से जो उन्होंने यहाँ प्ले ग्राउंड जो हमने ख्वाब में भी नहीं देखा था, लेकिन उन्होंने बना के दे दिया हमें, करके दिखाया।
वीडियो साहब की बहुत शुक्रगुजार है। जितने काम यहाँ हुए हैं आज तक, वो इससे पहले कभी नहीं हुए।
प्ले फील्ड्स बने हुए, ई टेंडरिंग जो एंगेज किए हैं गवर्नमेंट ने हमें, जो पहले नहीं होती थी, लेकिन जो नए ई टेंडरिंग फॉर्मेट निकला हुआ है वो बहुत ही खूबसूरत है और उसमें क्लियर जो प्रॉब्लम्स हमारी थी, वो जो काम हमारे थे, प्ले फील्ड्स के थे, वॉलीबॉल जो कोर्ट बने हुए हैं, बहुत सारे गवर्नमेंट ने और रूरल डेवलपमेंट हमें बहुत से ऐसे कामों में एंगेज रखा और बहुत से काम हुए हैं।
Well, now from Kashmir, moving on to Arunachal Pradesh. Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh got its first movie hall on Saturday, with a startup opening a screen in the heavily fortified city close to the tense India-China border, about 10,000 feet above sea level. Apart from the 80-seater cinema hall, the city also welcomed the virtual reality cafe. Apart from its location, what makes the movie theatre unique is its all-women staff. The Cineplex has been built by Jadus Media Solutions at 35 lakhs and will offer a 50,000 population of the city a cheaper movie-going experience at 100 rupees a ticket. Rani Mukherjee and Saif Ali Khan starrer Bollywood movie Bunty and Bubbly Part 2 was the first movie screened at the hall following its inauguration on Saturday.
We are bringing cinema to the masses, to India. This is the first cinema hall which is opened so close to India-China border. Cinema, we do believe, brings in a lot of national integration. We call it as the proponent of cultural integration. We are bringing the best of Bollywood, first day, first show, to everyone across the country. We want the people of Tawang to enjoy cinema, cafe, virtual reality, and everything at a very minimal cost. We don't want people to travel long distances to big cities.
And in international news, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki will begin to hold series of talks in Europe about the pressure of migrants on the European Union's border with Belarus, a crisis that he expects will continue for many months or even years. On a social media platform, the Polish leader said that the border crisis with Belarus is a very serious geopolitical situation and requires a lot of diplomatic effort. The Prime Minister said his first meetings today would be with his counterparts from EU members Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, which have also been hit by the migrant pressure in recent months, though to a lesser degree. During the week, he used to travel to some other European countries, which he did not name. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Saturday in Senegal's capital Dakar expressed deep concern for the stability of the neighboring Mali, which has experienced 2 coups in the last 18 months. And that upcoming elections, there must follow a timetable drawn up by the regional bloc ECOWAS. Earlier this month, ECOWAS, the West Africa's main political and economic bloc, imposed sanctions on Mali's transitional leaders after they informed the organization that they would not be able to hold presidential and legislative elections in February.
With regard to Mali, it remains a linchpin for future stability in the Sahel. And we have deep concerns about that stability and deep concerns about the extremism and terrorism that is spreading tentacles in the region. We very much stand with ECOWAS and the international community in calling for a return in Mali to the constitutional rule through democratic elections that need to take place according to the ECOWAS mandate by April of next year.
With regards to ongoing hostilities in Ethiopia, the U.S. Secretary of State said intensive diplomacy was underway with the leadership of the African Union, including assisting with humanitarian access for millions of people in Ethiopia. The World Health Organization has warned that some 500,000 more deaths could be recorded by March unless urgent action is taken. The WHO said that they are very worried about the spread of COVID-19 within Europe as the continent battles a fresh wave of infections. The warning comes as several nations report record high infection rates and introduce full and partial lockdowns. WHO Regional Director Hans Klug called for increased vaccine uptake and the implementation of basic public health measures and new medical treatments to help fight the rise. Many European countries are imposing new measures as cases rise. Countries including the Czech Republic and Slovakia have also announced fresh restrictions on unvaccinated people as record infection rates are recorded across the country. And in sports now, India and New Zealand are all set to face each other in the third match of their 3-game T20 series. The clash will take place today at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. The Indian team led by Rohit Sharma, who have already taken an unassailable 2-0 lead in the series. Indian openers Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul showed a brilliant touch in the last match. Well, that's it.
India will be up against New Zealand in the third T20 International on Sunday evening at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. India has taken an unassailable lead of 2-0 in the three-match series. Indian openers Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul showed a brilliant touch in the last match. However, middle order has been an issue to worry about since in both the matches the run rate slowed down considerably in the middle as well as death overs. Ishan Kishan or Ruturaj Gaikwad can be given an opportunity for some game time at the top of the order, while Venkatesh Iyer may move up the order too. R. Ashwin has been the best bowler for India in the two matches. However, with the series already won, India may bring in young pace battery Avesh Khan for his debut. Harshal Patel delighted the fans and the team with his player of the match performance in the second T20 International on his debut. New Zealand opener Martin Guptill played a fabulous knock of 70 runs in the first T20 International match and then scored a quick-fire 31 runs off 15 balls in the second match. Mitchell also looked to score runs in the last match. The challenge for the New Zealand batting would be to score quickly in the later stages of the match. India looked the better of the two teams by a fair distance in the first two games. In the batting department, the men in blue have sizzled. It will now need a Herculean effort from New Zealand to avoid a series whitewash. Sports Desk, DD India.
Well, that's it then in News Connect. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.